Hello there. Welcome to another episode of I Love This, You Should Too, a podcast with me, Samantha, and him, Indy. We are here to discuss a movie of my choosing this week. We are watching the year 2000 dance film Center Stage. So since I picked this movie, and it was one that I had loved in 2000 when I saw it, Indy, what did you think?
I did not love it. I see its appeal. It's also terrible. It's lovable and terrible.
In what way?
I get if you are very into ballet and there's not a lot of movies out there that kind of capture it and this explores some parts that maybe aren't in dance movies as often. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's more of a dancer's dance movie, much of it.
I think it is very much a dancer's dance movie.
But it's just a bad script. It's poorly written and it's poorly acted and it's silly when anything besides dance is happening.
Yeah, it definitely could have used a little bit more like realness in what's happening outside of the dance studio. But I did think that everything that happened in the dance studio was like very true.
Do you like it now as much as when you saw it, 25 years ago?
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
25 years ago when you
were
just a baby.
Just a baby. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was like kind of...
Now or then?
I really enjoyed it now. It brought back a lot of like nostalgia for me because this was like something that I kind of lived, the ballet part, not the school, outside of school part. But I really thought that it brought back a lot of like really nice memories for me and like friendships you make and how they all kind of understood what everyone else was going through just because they were all going through it together.
Are all the likable things in this movie because they remind you of something else that you liked in real life?
Maybe. I definitely like immediately at the beginning of the movie was like, oh, I remember all of this. This is so like true. So, yeah.
It's so true what was happening in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't know, like obviously a lot of the like dialogue and stuff isn't really how people talk ever. But it was funny in the first class scene at the beginning of the movie, when they've been like accepted into the school and everything. A lot of the comments were like very true to life and things that I had heard before. They weren't like random things that writers had thought were funny or like
what are you talking about?
There was just like little quips about like the collision insurance when she hits the other dancer. It's like funny little quips like that from your teacher. Kind of sarcastic. And then like the corrections all sounded like corrections that I would have gotten. And the ballet exercises that they're actually doing are exercises that I did as a dancer. So it felt very nostalgic and like very familiar. And maybe that's why I liked it more than you did. Maybe,
but I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't give me enough because there are a lot of hockey movies. Mm-hmm. And I can watch a hockey movie and be like, yes, I did that in practice. Yes, we say those words, but there's nothing else here for me. Mm-hmm. And then recently we were talking about hockey things that I do like and things that took it to the next level, things that would take stuff that is unique to hockey culture or dialogue and then extend that into the outside world and have it mirrored on a macrocosmic? Macrocosmic? That's not the right word. As an adjective?
Oh I don't know.
We usually don't record this late. It's very late. But you know what I'm saying.
I know in the broader world.
It takes that and extends it. And this, maybe part of its charm is it does the opposite. It's very insular. It is, we are of this world and we don't want to talk about anything else that is not of this world. But I feel like if the relationships had more to do with the dance, because we see a bit of a competitive aspect, but that's not really much of it either. Mm-hmm. It's not about people growing as dancers together, because that would be a good way to say, like, look, it's dance, but also look at this friendship. Mm-hmm. We don't see them competing against each other very hard, because then you could say, look, it's dance, but also it's competition.
Competition, yeah.
It's just, hey, there's dance, and then there's there's a movie that happens to be around it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first part of that, where you're like, oh, we're growing as dancers together, isn't something that I felt ever happened to me. But the other part that you said about like the competition, that is what we like felt. It was constant competition. You're constantly comparing yourself to other people. So I agree. It would have been nice to have like a little bit more of that.
Because the only real competition in this is people say she's good, I hate her. Mm-hmm. There's not really a one-upsmanship or like striving to be better than that other person. It's odd that they wouldn't lean into the competitive aspects more.
Yeah, because it's a very competitive like art form.
So I hear only 12 people make it.
Yeah.
From this class? No, from the world.
From the world.
This movie, though, I think we need to go a few steps back because you know how I remember every movie.
Yes.
I can watch something 20 years ago and I can tell you my favorite scene. This went right out of my head.
Oh, really?
I had a real hard time. I had a hard time the first half of the movie telling which character was which.
Yes, you did ask me quite a few times who was who and who the main girl was.
Because I thought there were 3 Jodie lookalikes, but I think it was just 2.
I think it was only 2. I think we just saw them in so many different outfits, but also kind of the same outfit.
I think that the characters weren't strong enough for me to be able to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. That also kind of like, just to play devil's advocate, that also is kind of just what the ideal ballerina is.
It doesn't have a personality.
They're all kind of similar in looks and personality and movement and everything. Like that's the whole point.
Sure, but I could say like, most people in the world are kind of similar. But if you watch a movie and everyone's the same, I think that's a fault of the writing and not like, well, that's how people are.
Mm-hmm. I think Jodie and Anna looked like the same character.
Still, like we'll talk about the characters. Maybe that's a good place to start. We'll go through the characters and you can talk about them through the whole movie and then ask to describe like, but what are they like? And you're like, well, I don't really know.
Yeah. Well, who do you want to start with? Do you want to start with our main girl?
Yes.
Jodie.
So is she small town?
I think so.
I thought that because there are dance movie tropes that I have learned. So the only way I can understand these characters is by putting something on them that maybe they didn't even do in this movie, but I've seen done enough that I'm like, all right, someone else told me this character and they did it better, so you're Julia Stiles, got it.
Yeah, she seems very small town. She also seems like someone who's like only done ballet and didn't really do like high school or like, you know, friends outside of ballet.
Because there's a lot of, I'm from the small town and now I've made it into the big city with my dance and whoa, everything's crazy. That happens in a lot of these movies and I thought that's what she is, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm now trying to remember where she's actually from. And I don't know that we actually ever find that out.
Because if they had her parents, like a scene of them at their farmhouse in Kansas, I'd be like, okay, there's some development, but I think it's implied, but maybe wasn't on the screen. Or maybe I just forgot because I don't remember a lot of this movie.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say yes, she's small town.
Okay, and now she's in the big city and she's trying to keep up with things.
Yes.
Okay, this is a dance-specific question. The only thing really that's wrong with her, and it's very wrong, is her turnout.
Yes.
Wow, she has such bad turnout. Isn't that something that would have been corrected by the time you're like 10?
There are just some things that you can't cheat.
So if only 12 people, or however many, maybe if it's fewer, in the world get there, you'd think they get someone who figured out their turnout by this point.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think that in real life she would have made it as far as she did. She totally was like big fish, small pond at home. And then...
But she made it.
Yeah.
Something that I understand is if this was a hockey movie and they're like, okay, you're going to make it to the Olympic team. And he's like, oh, but the only thing is I can't skate backwards. Like, well, then how the fuck did you get this far?
Yeah.
It seems like this is a very basic thing that could be learned Really, but through practice, because it's a body positioning thing. Mm-hmm. And that would be at the beginning of learning ballet.
Oh, for sure. And this is definitely a correction that she hears constantly.
She seems kind of lazy. Why didn't she figure it out by now?
Yeah.
She is also bad.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't practice or try very hard and is very unprepared.
No. I think if I had ever made it to, like, the School of American Ballet and I had a year to, like, get my shit together and get a job in the company at the end of that year, you'd think that, like, you'd only be dancing. And you'd only be, like, practicing. And you'd be in those empty studios, like, constantly trying to get better. I don't know. That just seems like she is a little lazy.
Maybe that's part of what I don't understand. In a movie that is so simple, it's also difficult to tell who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Because they're all, like, not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except my favorite character was Maureen, and apparently she's the villain.
Yeah. I like Maureen because I definitely danced with Maureen's. And I have, like, a...
What does that mean? What is a Maureen?
So Maureen is someone who is, like, so tunnel vision about their goal of becoming a ballerina that they have kind of lost sight of everything else around them. Like,
Has she?
well, I feel like she's pushing herself really, really hard. And it's not until she experiences some of the outside world that she realizes that she's not doing it for herself. And I think that she's only danced because she doesn't really seem to know how to, like, navigate in the outside world.
I was shocked to learn, because I didn't really read about the movie, but I went to the IMDb right now, that she was one of the people that was not a dancer.
Oh.
And I'm not shocked because her dancing was amazing. I was shocked because her performance was rough. I assume they're all, like, teenagers, so I don't want to...
She was an actor.
Yeah.
And not a dancer. Okay,
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I assumed that she was a great ballerina, and yeah, her acting wasn't great, but that's not what she's all about.
We wanted the dance
But
part.
no, she's someone who didn't do ballet and was cast because of her acting. And
she wasn't great.
No, but most people weren't. And it's especially hard when they're very young to be like, wow, this actor was terrible. But there were some of her deliveries that... I laughed very loudly, and I did feel kind of bad, but...
Some of those, that was something that didn't age well for me, was some of her stuff. I'm like...
I'm the best dancer in the American Ballet Company. Who are you? Nobody.
Yeah. Just like she'd never used words before.
No.
Some of them were like... And the intonation on stuff was like... really strange.
It was. It was as if she had been a dancer her whole life and now is trying acting and is doing her best.
Yeah.
But that was not the case.
Which
so
is a
weird.
little bit alarming.
There was another time when she yelled at someone that when she's angry, it was very, very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I wanted to rewind and watch it over and over again. I thought it was just hilarious.
I didn't remember that part. And yeah, that was like very glaringly obvious to me that was some rough stuff. And I have a feeling that she just never gave a good take and they kind of had to use what they had,
I guess.
Yeah.
This also sounds like I thought this movie was terrible. It's fun.
It was fun. You had fun watching it.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I laughed a lot, but I don't think I was supposed to.
No, there were some parts where I was like, that wasn't a joke.
Why am I laughing so hard?
I wish I had written those like moments down because I don't actually remember like when specifically you laughed. But
I know it was 2 times when Maureen got angry, and many of the rest we'll get to because it was Leather Jacket.
Oh yeah.
I still don't know his name, but
Cooper.
At the beginning of the movie, everyone tries to set up their character with one sentence, but they don't all get lines to do it. So they just have to have these like big emotions, go like, this is my character, and scream it in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And despite that, I still had trouble telling who was whom.
The boys all got a line. So we like know who they are, like, and they're also kind of hard to like confuse with each other.
Zoe Saldana, you could tell who she is.
Zoe Saldana,
because she comes in and she was like, I don't know if we see. Now I'm forgetting. Did we even see her before the academy?
We saw her in the audition because her friends are standing outside,
Sure. Is
and
she
then the lady
tough
closes
and
the
from
door.
the inner city?
Yes.
You know how I can tell?
How?
Because she chews gum and she's not white.
Right. Yeah. I
don't wear black leotards.
Yeah.
I hate people for no reason. I'm tough.
I admire her like spunkiness. That would not have flown in any of the ballet rooms.
No,
that
she was
in.
an asshole.
You would have been kicked out of class.
Why is she there? When she gets accepted, more than one person, when they make it into this thing they've seemingly been trying to do for many years, are very angry about it.
Yeah.
They're very upset that their dreams are coming true.
Yeah. She has a very strange reaction to getting into like a prestigious school.
Like, no one's making you go.
No.
It wasn't that she was being forced by her mother. That would have made more sense. And then she was upset to be in there. But she auditioned and got in and was very upset about it.
Yeah.
And then continued to be upset.
Yeah. But is like also really good.
What was her turn, really?
Oh, well, she went back to the bar and she remembered her foundation and...
Oh, yes. That's another...
I knew you were going to want to talk about that scene.
So that happens in pretty much every dance movie I've seen with you now as well. They have to go to some like salsa or hip hop or some club where there are people who aren't white, and then they loosen up and they get free, and that's what like sparks their, it either reignites their love, or if they are the like stuck up by the book one, then it lets them be free.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, huh?
It does happen a lot. It's a big trope. But Zoe Saldana specifically is like angry, and the main teacher, Juliet, they have that like moment at night in the studio with all the lights off.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, come back here. Just remember here. And she's like patting the bar. And
I kind of liked that.
I
liked that performance.
Me too. I thought she was very like close to teachers I've had. Like she did a very good job of being the ballet mistress. Firm but supportive.
So I can't go on like this is like somebody that I know in ballet. I just thought that many of them did not act like people, and she acted like
people. Yeah.
And that was, she acted like people. I'm not asking for much.
She acted like a people. She's
Total
one of those people.
Total people person.
Total people acting. But yeah, no, I liked that moment. And then I liked the moment later when Zoe Saldana is actually practicing and she comes in and like gives her a correction and she gets it. And that was like kind of a nice little moment too.
But just give me something. Give me something where she's angry all the time, but secretly she's working so hard when no one's around because she doesn't want to admit that how much she loves this and she's conflicted with something. Give me something like that.
Yeah.
Give me that she was pushed her entire life to do something else and she went this way and now she's doing something for herself. And that's why it means so much. But I don't know. She was a dancer, hated it, and then was like, okay, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of the journey.
Yeah.
Which is a weird one.
I also don't know how someone can just have that attitude all the time. It seems exhausting.
I'm sure it is. I just don't know how everyone put up with it.
Oh, yeah. No, that she would have been kicked out of class.
She's like, I'm here. Fuck you guys. Yeah. Watch this. And they're all like, oh, okay.
Great.
Keep it up.
But like also.
But look at her turnout.
But we like really want to be here. So I don't know what your issue is.
All we care about is how terrible Jody?
Jody was the one with the bad feet.
Yeah, all we care about is how terrible Jody's turnout is. It doesn't matter if you show up late and all of that. Her turnout's bad. That's all we care about. Also, she shows up late and unprepared too. Jody.
Yeah.
Bad student.
Bad student.
Bad feet.
Not a great crop of hopefuls.
Maureen's holding it down.
She really is.
My girl Maureen. She's the best dancer. Who are you? Nobody.
Do you want to talk about the boy students? Or do you want to talk about Cooper? Leather jacket.
Let's do it all.
Okay, let's talk about the boys. So we have Charlie, Sergey.
Okay, Charlie, who's he? Tell me something about who he is.
He's the white guy who
that doesn't narrow it down.
Doesn't have an accent.
They were telling me who he's not.
Oh.
Tell me something about his character.
His girlfriend broke up with him. He's from Seattle.
His girlfriend broke up with him.
And he's like the cute one that Jody gets with at the end.
Debatable.
Okay. So yeah.
I have, in my notes, because I was trying to keep the names straight, I have Charlie, straight, boring. That's all I wrote down. There's Eric O. Jones, and all I have under him is the O is for Oprah.
Yes, that's his introductory line.
They always have a gay character in these, but that's where they can put someone who's not white, because they're like, oh, it's less threatening if they're gay. Mm-hmm. I honestly feel they do that pretty often.
Wow, yeah.
Because like if we have a straight black man alongside these white women, ooh, that's scary. Better make sure we explicitly say he's gay often.
Yeah, I don't love that, but it's probably true.
And then there's Sergey, who says funny things in an accent. That's his character? Yes,
and his girlfriend Galina is in the San Francisco Ballet Company. And then he wants to get a job there, and he misses her.
And he's comedic relief. He gets with that like older lady at the salsa club. Yeah. Who's your favorite of those guys?
Of the boys? I'm going to have to go with Charlie.
What? That's the only wrong answer, I feel like. Why?
I don't know.
Just because he's not actively terrible? Because you forget who he is?
Not actively terrible. He's not like pushy or rude or mean. And he's a good dancer.
He's a slice of Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
But then you love Wonder Bread. So.
I do.
I thought Sergey was funny because at least he was a good dancer. And he, I think, had to act. Mm-hmm. He had to do like a clueless guy a good bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's his normal accent or not, but he did that. So either I give him credit for doing an accent, and if that's his normal accent, then I give him credit for speaking English.
That's his normal accent. He is a 1998 Olympic champion figure skater from Russia.
What's his name?
Ilya Kulik.
Oh, shit. I know who that is.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He's like...
I didn't know that was...
an Olympic gold medalist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even more respect.
Yeah.
And I thought he gave a better performance than people who are there because they are apparently good actors.
Yeah, I thought he did a very, very good job with what he was given. I did enjoy that whole scene at the bar where he's like, oh yeah, I'm from Russia. And then he stops telling people that he's a ballet dancer and starts talking about being like a spy or in the mob. And then the women like really like him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, he's my favorite of the guys. Or Oprah. Oprah was better too. But I was going to say the only person I don't care for was Wonder Bread because I don't know anything about him.
I think I like him because he's better than Leather Jacket.
Well, yeah.
Because you like kind of want to root for him.
Who was your favorite of the girls?
I'm going to say Jody.
Again, I couldn't tell you anything about her.
Oh, yeah.
2 slices of Wonder Bread. They are a match made in heaven.
Just a little sandwich.
Put a little mayonnaise between the two of them, and you can have the most boring sandwich ever. That's what their relationship is.
Is it a sandwich if it's just mayonnaise?
I would say no, but the two of them would say, like, yeah, that's enough to build a marriage on. They end up together with the amount of chemistry of mayonnaise. So I'd go Maureen, of course.
Maureen, yeah. And
I liked her throughout the whole... I don't know why I liked her so much. I think it's just because the movie was trying to get me to believe that she was a villain. And I was like, I don't know if we're watching the same movie. She hasn't done anything wrong.
I think they could have made her a little bit meaner.
She's not mean.
Yeah.
Jodie and Zoe Saldana are mean.
Yeah. But I think Maureen, if she's really going to be that stereotypical ballet girl, I think she should have been a little bit more demeaning and mean.
Yeah.
Because that's like totally who that person is.
Let's talk about that. Or maybe we'll finish up with...
The boys.
The boys, or we kind of did.
I think we're kind of done with the boys.
My big question is, who's the villain? Most of the movie has you believe that Maureen was the villain. And just because... I always forget Zoe Saldana's actual name.
Eva
is angry at her. We're like, oh, she's bad. because Eva's getting screen time, so we know that she's good.
Mm-hmm.
We know Jodie's good because we're following her journey. I'd say Jodie and Eva are villains, and Maureen is a bit of a hero.
Mm-hmm.
She's just doing her work.
Yeah.
Did she do anything bad to them?
She like made a few comments,
But didn't
like
she
little throwaway comments, like nothing crazy.
Because when she was mean, I think at one point she says, maybe you should give up and go to college.
Yeah.
Yeah. She should. There are a lot of people better than you.
Who like would have wanted
You
that
don't
spot.
have the work ethic. You're not very good at this. Mm-hmm. You should probably go to college. You need something to fall back on because it is not this. Maureen was 100% right.
Yeah, she really was. I just think that they should have made her a little snippier and meaner.
Yeah, was she meant to be the villain?
Yes.
I thought we might have a Bring It On situation here where after we watched that, you still thought the Clovers were the villains. I was like, I think you got that wrong. I thought you would say like, no, Maureen's the villain, but we both know that she was pretty nice.
She was pretty nice.
She's fine.
And she kind of
nice,
falls into that like, oh, she's different because she's been at the ballet school her entire life. And that makes her threatening. And she's also a little bit of a robot. Yeah. So like people don't really know how to like become like really good friends with her because all she does is dance and talk to her mom. But
Zoe Saldana's actively mean.
Yes.
And Jodie is wasting an opportunity that so many other people would kill for. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd say they're absolutely the bad ones.
Do you think, I was thinking about this yesterday, that they gave some of Maureen's lines to Zoe Saldana?
No. Wait, why?
Because she's bad at acting.
Oh. Like, no, because they're meant to be against each other. Yeah. If you said she had more lines and they got cut because they were bad, I'd believe that, but then they kept in those ones. So how bad were the cut ones?
Oh my God. I know. I was thinking about that too. I was like, these are the cuts that were like the best. These were the gold.
Yeah.
And they're real questionable. So yeah, I don't know. She's been acting quite a bit.
You told me that Jodie went on to have a big career, and that's shocking. But she's young. I guess you can learn.
Yeah. Jodie was really good in Suits. Yeah. So should we talk about Cooper?
Yeah. Speaking of villains.
He is a total
villain.
When
you watched this movie as a child, did you think Cooper was not the villain for much of it? Or is it the first second you're like, oh, he's the bad guy?
I think maybe not like bad guy, but he was like the
bad boy,
like the dangerous one. He's like the wrong choice and you know it, but he's like the enticing choice.
That's fascinating to me because first I'm a straight man, so yeah. There's going to be something there that I just can't see. But there's so many times we'll watch movies and I'm like, oh yeah, I see the appeal of that guy. That's a handsome guy. That's a charming guy. I do not get it here outside of the fact of if you love ballet, he is good at that.
He is very good at ballet.
That is the single thing that I could give him to be why anyone would be interested in him.
I just need to show you a picture, which I know is great for this audio medium, of Cooper now.
Damn.
He's like totally different. For those of you at home, he has like a full mustache and like mid-length long hair. It's very different from who he was in this movie. But yeah.
He looks like I would buy his folk album.
He looks like somebody you'd see walking around Folk Fest for sure.
Yeah. I did think up until closer to the end when he goes full villain that we would have another
argument.
Bring It On.
Yeah.
Where you're like, no, he's like the cool bad boy. And it's like, no, he's just the worst human. Mm-hmm. But then they just make him over the top villainous. And you're like, okay, now we see. But right at the beginning, we see him and as soon as the camera went on, I was like, who is this 12-year-old in a leather jacket that they're trying to make look tough?
With next to a motorcycle.
Not working.
Yeah.
Is he sitting on his dad's motorcycle? Does he get to ride on the handlebars?
Is he just standing next to it to look cool?
That's what
it's waiting really for a ballerina to get out of a cab and to look cool.
It was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
It seemed
As
like
an adult,
a sketch.
seeing that. Yeah. Because I feel like when I saw this in 2000, everybody who's not my age seemed like the appropriate age.
Sure.
Like, because everyone's an adult, right? And I don't remember how old I was, but like I'm in junior high. So everybody who's not like 20, well, I guess they're all like 20, but like anyone who's not 16 seems very old. You had a very hard time with how old everyone was.
It seemed to me that the boys and the girls that we just talked about were high school to college age and leather jacket as well. Yeah. He didn't seem any older than, what was that guy's name? Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie.
It seems weird to me that, oh yeah, Charlie is a child and Cooper is an adult. I'm like, no, they're clearly not.
So they're supposed to be skipping their first year of university, basically, in order to get a job.
Okay, so they're all like 17, 18, 19.
17, 18, 19. Yeah, like in there. Cooper is established
16.
in his career, and I would say he's probably like 25, 26.
Wow.
Like,
so then it's also
20s.
Gross.
It is gross. It is very
I
gross.
thought it was super gross when his ex, is that lady, like, did they have a thing?
Oh, Kathleen?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they've had something.
Yes, they were dating before she married Peter Gallagher.
The fact that one woman dated both Peter Gallagher and that 12-year-old who is dressed like Danny Zuko for Halloween.
Yeah.
That's gross.
So
that woman, there's a word for it. It's pedophile. That's not. I thought it was a bit about how these older rich women are taking advantage of these dancers by being like, oh, I'm going to give you money so you can study.
Which did happen in this movie.
Exactly.
There were so many storylines in this
I thought
movie.
that was the second time it happened.
Oh, yeah. No, she's supposed to be like within a year or two of Cooper.
No, nice. No.
Because they're like contemporaries.
Nope.
Because they've been dancing together for years. Okay. Well.
Yeah, for years. They started when he was 6 and she was 20. And they've been dancing for the last 8 years.
Yeah, that's real creepy.
Mm-hmm. So the creepy relationship is him with Jody because she's a child and he's an adult?
Yeah.
I thought they were both like high school age and he had an affair with a grown woman. And of course she went to marry a grown human and he hasn't gotten over it because he's a teenager who doesn't like really, he was pushed into something that he wasn't ready for and didn't really understand. And now he's being left and he doesn't quite get it. And he's doing it again with that other older woman. That's what I thought was going on.
Do you want to know something crazy? The
Crazier than
actors
that?
are only 2 years apart.
Which two?
The Cooper and Kathleen, the one who marries.
Oh. Wait, then how much younger is Jody?
Oh, Amanda Shaw is 46 and Cooper is 52.
Wow, he looked very young.
He did look like 14. Like
he
someone's
looked younger
little brother.
than her, I thought.
I also thought it would have been really good if Cooper was like Peter Gallagher's little brother.
That makes sense.
And their whole thing was like Cooper had the career that Peter Gallagher wanted, and Peter Gallagher like knew ballet because he did it, but
he
wasn't
just
good
didn't
enough.
Have the talent,
And so he became like executive director.
Better movie.
Yeah, I think I would really like to see the prequel to this, where Kathleen is dating Cooper, and Cooper and Jonathan are brothers. Grooming, yes. And then like Kathleen and Jonathan getting married, and Cooper being like broken.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd watch that.
I would really like to see that movie. And it's definitely not for the same like people who are watching Center Stage. But I think that the older audience would enjoy that a lot more.
I think it could be because I think this movie shows us that the plot is kind of irrelevant if you have dance stuff.
Good point.
When there was plot, it was weird.
Yeah.
Because he does have like an older benefactor.
He does, yeah.
Who Jody physically assaults.
By accident.
You thought that was an accident?
Yeah, I thought so.
She was talking to the man that she wants, so she went over there and body checked her.
Huh. I can see what you're saying.
But yeah, Leather Jacket was the worst character, but because of that, got to be kind of fun because it was like scenery chewing bad.
Yeah.
It was so over to the top and ridiculous that I started to like it.
So while we're talking about him, what did you think of the ballet?
Oh, the finale?
Yeah.
Should we save the finale for the finale?
I guess, yeah. Okay, well, we won't talk about that yet. But
Well, what do we have to talk about before we get there? I did want to say that when she goes to that one other class and it's the cast from Rent.
Yes. I really enjoy that scene quite a bit. I also really enjoy this soundtrack. I feel like every dance studio I've ever been in has had a CD copy of this soundtrack in it. I spent a lot of time listening to this, and it was nostalgic and nice. There's a lot of Mandy Moore in it, too.
Yeah. I do love some Mandy Moore. No, that's not true. I love Mandy Moore. Mm-hmm. I don't really care for her music. Oh, okay. I just like her. She's a good person, right? Is she terrible? Everyone's terrible, and I don't learn about people's personal lives.
She's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good.
It was her ex-husband who was bad.
Oh. Is he someone I know?
Yeah. What's his name? He did the acoustic reimagining of 1989.
Ryan Adams?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
piece
yeah.
of shit.
I remember that because I was talking about how good his music was. And then someone's like, he's a piece of shit, right? And I was like, no, I don't. I just listen to the music. I don't know. You
don't. It's true. But yeah.
Ryan Adams and Mandy Moore were married?
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah. That's weird because I like her as a person, but I like him as a musician.
And now she's married to Taylor Goldsmith of Dawes.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Who else do we need to talk about here?
Not Paul Rudd.
Oh my God. Jim Gordon, the whitest.
Is that his name?
Yeah. The
Jim Gordon?
Whitest, most blandest, most like nondescript man name ever.
Well, not to me, just because that is Commissioner Gordon from Batman.
Is this his origin story?
It's Jim Gordon. Yeah, he was in pre-med, and then he met this dancer, got married. Oh yeah, and then he has a daughter who's Batwoman sometimes.
Oh.
Batgirl. There
you
go.
Is he bad?
No, he's a good guy.
Oh, he's a good guy.
He's
okay.
trying to do the best he can in a corrupt society.
Sorry, I don't know my Batman very well. Yeah. Yes, so I did have to Google him like as soon as he was on screen because I was like, how is this not Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd was busy making Clueless, so he couldn't be here. So they got that guy. And I remember him as the prostitute in 30 Rock.
Right.
His name was like Anders or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, he...
I've seen him in a few things. I like him.
Very much was doing a whole Paul Rudd thing too.
So there you go. Him, I'll say, there's a charming guy.
Yes.
Your boy Paul or whatever, I forgot his name. He's
Charlie.
Charlie. No charm.
No charm?
None.
Oh, I thought he was
Remember when
quietly
we
charming.
Recently watched Undeclared?
Yes.
And there were so many of like just that kind of guy. And like, oh man, I remember that kind of guy. I hate that kind of guy who wears his t-shirt with a collared shirt over top of it and it's open. Maybe a puka shell necklace, has a little spiky hair.
Uh-huh.
Charlie was that guy.
Oh, okay.
I found Charlie the most boring character of the whole movie. And that maybe makes him the worst. Because the worst character in Leather Jacket, he was so bad that it went all the way around and I was like, okay, I'm enthralled by everything he's doing because this is ridiculous.
So Jim Gordon, pre-med, is like, hey, Maureen, you're real all over the place and also throwing up and like you've no idea about the world, basically. He gives her some tough love that I think she really needed.
Yeah, clearly.
She needed to talk to someone outside of the ballet world.
Yeah.
And
she just needed a normal force out there to be a bit of a grounding influence, even though he wasn't really doing any heavy lifting.
No.
She just needed something stable to see as a reference point.
Yeah.
She needed a horizon to look at. She didn't even need anything to hold on to. She just looked at that horizon of him of like, oh, there's something that's like kind of normal. What I got is not.
Yeah.
I need to switch it up.
And he took her
My mom's
bowling.
a crazy person.
And she was like, wait, what?
They're eating pizza and beer?
And like laughing and telling jokes. This is wild. I've never even experienced or thought about this.
No. 'Cause she has no friends because everyone hates her because she's good at dancing.
Yeah.
That's maybe why Jody was likable, is because she was terrible at dancing.
She's like the lovable loser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Jody.
Poor Jody, nothing. She gets every break.
True.
She's bad at the one thing she's there for, and also doesn't try to get better.
Yeah. And I feel like as someone who wants to become a professional dancer, she was really good in that jazz class, and she seemed really good at the things that weren't ballet that she danced.
She should switch it up.
And I think at that point, earlier in her like ballet career, someone should have been like, hey, I think you're like more of a commercial dancer.
You don't even have turnout.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the starting point for this.
Yeah.
Maybe you should hang it up at the age of 6.
Yeah.
I have better turnout than her.
Yeah, you do. Do you have anything else to say about Jim?
No, I don't have much to say about Jim at all.
Okay.
Jim, I have only like one thing more to say about him than Charlie. Can't believe we even gave Charlie's time on this show. And that he's your favorite.
I liked him quite a bit.
I did have a couple of Cooper things wrote down that I wanted to go over. First, like, I don't give a shit what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That made me laugh because he's supposed to be threatening.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole like whisper scream that he did at her was like fair, but like also like so poorly delivered.
And then when he says to Peter Gallagher, like, you're threatened by me. To me, that's like if that 8-year-old ballerina said, you're threatened by me. To me, I'd be like we're not kind of on the same level. You don't really threaten me.
You're not even in my sphere.
That's kind of how Peter Gallagher should have looked at that.
I thought Peter Gallagher was great in this movie.
He was fine. He didn't have much to do.
He was like everything he was supposed to be. He was a guy who stole a girl from another guy. He was like the ballet director.
Stole? How did he steal her?
Well, kind of sounded like Cooper was blindsided and then they were just married.
Look at Cooper.
Yeah.
Do you think that any woman was like voluntarily there and then had to be stolen from that
no,
situation?
You're right. He was probably pretty shitty.
He uses pickup lines like he went to one of those how to win women seminars.
Oh, God.
He was... he was terrible.
Yeah.
What was the best couple in this? You got Charlie and Jody, Cooper and Jody, Jim and Maureen.
I like Jim and Maureen.
Well, clearly. Because they were the only relationship that didn't involve Jody, Charlie, and Cooper, who were all terrible. Maybe Peter Gallagher and that lady, but we don't even see anything with him.
True. And I don't know. I've never seen Julie Kent in anything else. She plays Kathleen. Her voice is very interesting. So if that's her actual voice, then whatever. But
I've already forgotten who Kathleen is. That's the woman that Peter Gallagher marries?
Yes. Okay. You see her right at the beginning in the like giant floppy hat, and she says, "Hi, girls."
The beginning, everyone was just screaming their character at me, so I was trying to take that in, and I did not.
That's fair.
I did not get that. So
the workshop is like what everything's coming to, and somehow everyone gets a job from it, or is supposed to get a job from it.
I didn't try to understand how it went because it was the most simple thing and then it made no sense. So I'm like, okay, it's just movie nonsense.
It is movie nonsense. And I, just from like someone who's been through auditions and stuff, I don't understand how anybody but like the 3 people who are dancing the leads would get a job in either of those ballets. Because everyone's wearing the same costume. They all look exactly the same. But they're all trying to get jobs.
Some people don't even perform and are injured and they get a job.
Yeah, true. Erica O. Jones.
So first there's the professional one. Peter Gallagher's one.
Peter Gallagher's ballet, yes.
Where Maureen just doesn't show up and says, "Hey, Zoe, you're in."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, good thing I know all your choreography and fuck your understudy.
Yeah.
Someone who's actually been prepared for this part. I'm just going to go do it.
I'm just going to do it.
I'm not even going to tell the people who are going to be lifting me that it's a different person.
Yeah, you'd think...
Just figure it out as you go, guys.
For any kind of like professional dance thing, you have a lift call. Because you have to be able to like test it out in the costume. And like everybody's like center of gravity is a little bit different. So you have to like kind of work that out. That's not something that you just like throw in the air and pick her up. Like, that's not...
Well, when you got Sergey in there, he can do it.
Well, Sergey's, like, pretty great, so...
Ilyushka. That's what they called him. Oh, like, I know who Ilya Kulik is.
So
like,
funny.
I remember that guy.
Yeah, that was not something that would happen.
And then everyone was just kind of cool with it.
Everyone was like, oh my God, you were amazing.
I did like that Sergey was, like,
kind of mad at it. It was like,
angry.
What the hell?
Yeah.
You couldn't have told me. We couldn't have just like run it through once. We're trying to get jobs here. This is like not...
You're fucking with my career.
Not cool. Which is exactly the correct reaction.
The more I think about it, he might have been my favorite of this movie, actually.
He had
over
some
Maureen
really great moments. So then we see Cooper's ballet. So there's a third ballet. It's not important.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh.
There was like the one where they were all like wearing flowers in their hair, and Anna, who you thought was Jodie, is like the lead in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall.
It was like...
how many motorcycles were in that one?
0.
Oh, okay, that's why I don't remember
it. Was a bunch of girls wearing flowers and like romantic tutus, and that was about it.
Were there lots of leather pants in that one?
There were 0 leather pants.
Okay, I don't care for it then. That's all I want.
And 0 people switched roles.
Oh, okay.
So,
but there were like 3 or 4 sex scenes in it?
There were 0 sex scenes.
What? Okay, yeah, I don't care about that one at all. You've been to more ballets than I have.
I have been to a lot of ballets.
How many sex scenes are in a typical ballet?
Oh, I can think of like 2 ballets where there's like implied sex.
No. Like they're on a bed and they're humping.
0.
Okay. How many motorcycles usually?
0.
Aren't there usually a couple in that big sphere that... Oh, I'm thinking the circus. I might be thinking of the circus.
I think you might be thinking of Cirque du Soleil. Which I'm sure they've used a motorcycle at some point, but... That
might be what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's definitely not a norm in a ballet.
So when he drove on with that motorcycle,
you cheered.
I lost it. I laughed and laughed and laughed. That
you
was
may have
one of the
been
funniest.
waving your arms around in the air too. This was like
in a split second. I went from infuriated to just like, that's hilarious.
This is wild.
That's objectively very funny.
Yeah,
but I don't think in an intentional way.
No. It's supposed to be very serious.
This often comes up when I watch movies that you like. Is that a joke? Like, we know that Cooper's like a bad guy. Mm-hmm. I am looking at it as like, oh, he's doing the worst job of ever trying to be your typical bad boy. Mm-hmm. This is what a 6-year-old would do.
Yeah.
Is that the joke? Or is it like he's a bad boy that plays by his own rules?
He's a bad boy who plays by his own rules.
It's not funny how bad of a job he's doing at being a bad boy.
No.
Okay.
No.
But it really is quite funny.
It is quite funny. And I think if it was anybody but Charlie dancing the other role, they would have been like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are we doing here? I'm not playing
I forgot
out
Charlie
your,
was
like,
even on stage.
Yeah, he's the other guy. He's the Jonathan character.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy.
That was so dumb that he like, so these 2 adults got married and I don't know how to deal with it. So I'm going to write this ballet where I can just show everyone how cool I am. I can drive my motorcycle around and then I'm going to throw her on it and I'm going to drive her to bed. And we're just going to bang on stage right in front of everyone. That will show everyone that I'm a real cool guy and not a loser and a child at all.
And I don't care if her parents are in the audience. That was the other thing. I was like, I don't know that you could dance that in front of your parents. That's very weird.
Well, you should be ashamed of this whole thing. It's ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
I'm terrible. But he drove to bed. I also have that written down. Just drove to bed.
Yeah.
So dumb. And then she does the splits to simulate sex on him?
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of like leg lifts and splits and
Straddling, I think is the word.
Yes. I did enjoy how her outfits.
Tutu?
Yeah.
The unwrapped tutu. That was good.
That was like actually really cool.
That was great.
A little bit of movie magic, a little bit of actual stage costuming.
I think that, the tutu at least, was costume magic.
Oh, no, for sure. But
then there's another time when they just cuts and she has completely different makeup and hair.
hair.
You're like, wait a
they
minute.
took the time to like curl all her hair.
So you had put in the effort to make a tutu that actually unravels into a different skirt in a different color. Mm-hmm. And they really did that from what I could tell.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to like, okay, what are we going to do for her hair and her makeup? I don't know, we'll just cut and it'll be different.
Yeah.
Don't try to hide anything. That's just what it's going to be like.
Yeah, like full red lipstick, different eye makeup, the class scenes where there's like background dancers as well when she's being like lured out of her perfect ballet world. They changed like hair pieces and leotards and tights and like everything like twice throughout the like show. And you did ask if this was like a 3-hour ballet.
Yeah. I thought this was supposed to be an hour later, but no.
No, it's all
nonsense.
Supposed to be like one after another. They really didn't make it
good.
They didn't make it in any way able to actually perform on a stage.
No.
This was like very much just movie magic.
And then there was a fight where he wears leather pants.
Yes, and
he's tough.
And then she gets in the middle of it, and then she wears red and dances.
Yeah, it was something. It was a spectacle.
It was a spectacle. It was like a whole thing, but it wasn't really sensical. It was nonsense.
It was.
It was really fun-looking nonsense.
And then it ends and everybody gets a happy ending. Hey, you broke your ankle? You got a job.
Here's a job.
You want a job? You want a job?
You're going to get a job with your girlfriend.
And then Jody's like, Mom, Dad, thanks for coming. Oh, wait, bye. Never see them again. She just abandons her parents. They're just standing there in the hallway going, what do we do?
Yeah, what are we supposed to be doing?
You know that asshole who's been traumatizing me? Oh, now he's going to try to kiss me again? And I'm going to be like, but I am going to work with you.
Yeah.
I haven't learned anything.
I thought that was a strange choice.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that that's how the job thing went.
Yeah.
I remember that Zoe Saldana got a job and that Eric got a job even though he's broken. I did not remember how Jody made her decision.
She's like, you know what? You're a complete asshole. And I like that about you.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
You also made me simulate sex with you on stage while my parents were in the audience. But like, cool. Whatever.
The motorcycle is more egregious than that.
Yeah, that whole thing. And then she just gets a lot of flowers.
And she said, but I'm not going to kiss you. Hey, other guy who had interest in me, we haven't really talked at all, but you're a human. I'll go with anyone. I don't have any standards. I don't have a personality, so I don't care that you don't know me and I don't know you. Now we're a couple.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to know about Charlie either, because there's nothing there.
They're both from like Iowa or something. Oh yeah, Charlie's from Seattle. That's right. But yeah, okay.
And they make a mayonnaise sandwich.
And a mayonnaise baby.
Ew.
Any final thoughts about this movie?
I get that if you're a dancer, you'd be like, oh, that's something I know. That's something I know. But the more I talk about it, it's like, oh, that's not enough. I think people see themselves on screen so much that when they find something that they think is unique about themselves, like maybe they're into ballet and there's someone who's, hey, I shaved my point shoes like that too.
Yeah.
This is a good movie now.
Yeah.
They latch onto it maybe more than we should and give undue credit where it doesn't necessarily belong. But if you're like, you know what? When I was 13, we'd watch this at sleepovers and laugh and dance. I'd be like, yeah, I get that. I see the appeal of that for sure. But I think when people are like, well, this is more of a serious dance movie. It's not.
No, it's not.
It just has.
It's not.
It just understands what dance is.
It's got serious dancers in it.
Yeah.
But it's not a serious movie. This is the least serious movie.
And in the end, they wrap it up. Everyone gets a happy ending except for me, because I didn't care for it.
So you don't want to watch the sequel?
Oh, I'd watch the sequel.
Okay, yeah, because I have it.
I have a different dance movie that I want to watch first, though.
Okay.
I want to watch You Got Served.
Oh, I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, it's going to be terrible, and I'm going to love it.
Perfect.
Then the sequel's called You Got F'd in the A.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if you say the whole thing, but I think it's just blanked out.
Hmm.
Isn't that what the dance movie's called?
I don't know.
And then everyone goes, "You got F'd in the A."
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought you know dance stuff. I don't know it.
I don't know that kind of dance, I think. Yeah. I feel like you just made all my points for me.
About getting F'd in the A?
No, not that. Before. Rewind.
That everyone got a happy ending except for you?
No, before that.
Okay, well then you had to tell me because I don't know what it was.
Okay. That it's nostalgic. I definitely watched this quite a bit as a young dancer. I think that I saw a lot of little me and my hopes and dreams of becoming a ballerina, even though I was like a foot too tall. And I like really think I noticed a lot of things that like someone who didn't do ballet wouldn't notice. So
like what?
The things that were accurate. I feel like I already talked about that a little bit, but like I really appreciated that. I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of comforting. Like it made me remember.
It made you remember.
Made me remember dancing and how much I liked it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just I think people should see it.
So this is the movie for you if you already watched it and liked it, or if something happens in this movie that happened to you and it's a good memory of yours. It might remind you of something that you liked in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once a child gave me a ride on a motorcycle, so it made me nostalgic for that.
You shouldn't be getting on motorcycles with children. There should be 0 children on motorcycles.
No, that's not true. I've been in a lot of places where there's many children on motorcycles.
Okay, in Canada, there should be 0 children on motorcycles. I'm just going to make that rule. Okay, well, go watch Center Stage from year 2000. If you
should have already watched it.
We ruined it, so, have fun.
Yeah, don't watch it now. You've gone this far. It's done.
So what's happening next week?
Oh, I don't know. We'll probably do a couple of things of the fortnight. I'll talk about a movie that we're going to watch.
And then we'll watch it.
And then we'll watch it.
And then the next week we'll talk about it.
Again.
Yeah, over and over again.
You just rinse and repeat.
Forever.
Let's go rinse.
Okay, great.
Then we'll repeat.
See you next week, everyone.
Good night. It's bedtime.
Bye.